Radio, reviewing trades for January 27th, 2025. So today was a good day, even though I ended red. I'll say that right off the bat. I'm proud of myself, giving myself the congratulations, high fives, pats on the back, everything for just following the rules, maintaining the focus and discipline and strength to just, walk away when I didn't want to, but I knew that it was the right thing to do for where I'm at now in terms of really needing to strengthen the connection, between following the rules and rewiring my brain to associate following the rules with success, regardless of what the outcome is. That's sort of like my primary focus right now in the effort to really preserve capital, minimize loss, teach myself to strengthening the discipline, to respect max loss. All of those things kind of all tie into this idea of strengthening that association between following the rules and success. Even if that means you go red. So it was pretty boring most of the day, although I do have to just comment as an aside how stoked I am on this sweet new setup. I'm running double chart configuration here with 2 level 2s and time and sales, the 1 minute, the 5 minute, and the daily. I was a little bit nervous that this would be like sensory overload, like having 2 different sets of things, but it's actually better having this because I found myself with just when I just had 1 level 2, 1 montage window, 1 time in sales, and 1 set of charts for any given ticker that I was looking at. I found myself jumping around so much anyway. This actually helps me cut down on the jumping around and the sort of nervous anxiety that I get when I'm trying to keep track of what's going on over here with this one. I know this one's moving good, and I want to keep an eye on that. I don't want to just put it on these thumbnail charts over here. I want to keep it kind of more front and center. Anyway, it was nice. It was good. We'll see how it goes. So anyway, the beginning of the morning was really slow. Really slow. Right out of the gate, the first kind of option was MLGO. It had already had a good move. It had good volume. But right when I saw it popping up in the scanner and switched over to it, it had just double topped at this 282, 280 something area. And it had gotten this big red big selling volume candle, which is kind of like a pretty strong indicator of the rejection. Even this rejection over here had, when it did its initial run up from $1.80 something up to about 280, the selling volume after on the retracement after that initial run up was relatively small. But then it just had these little pop-ups and then fall back, pop up and fall back. And this pop-up looked like it was, really going. This is as much as short of a range as the candles were on MLGO. This pop-up was looking pretty good, but it just, I wanted, I was discouraged to see that kind of rejection at that exact same level. So yeah, I stayed off of that one. And then, and then after that, it was just kind of grindy. That was sort of the theme of the morning. There were some moves that I could have gotten. I could have gotten into that, this breakout, but then It was a false breakout. So the moves on MLGO were really small, and that was kind of the theme. Like down here, HOLO, the same, we'll see in a bit, a similar sort of thing was happening there. And then MLGO tries to make a couple of attempts to break out of this like 287 area, and it's just like not doing it. Now we have the ADFN orders at 8 o'clock that just totally fuck up the chart. I really wish DAS Trader would filter those out. So, so this is interesting because I didn't even notice this until now. This kind of just goes to show that even having this second chart down here, this second chart setup, montage and chart setup down here, is no guarantee that I'm going to notice the moves, because as I was kind of focused on MLGO, things start happening with HOLO like really fast. Like it has this like sudden burst. It was right. I think that maybe I wasn't watching it because it was right on those ADFN orders. So ADFN orders just break the chart because they're like these off the book orders. This isn't like, it's not real volume that you can actually jump into. So maybe my brain just kind of like tuned this out, but this actually turned into like a decent jump that I missed. And it just happened to coincide right with all of these ADFN orders that you get a big flood of almost every morning at 8 o'clock. So it didn't register until I saw it on the scanner. And, you know, at that point I had been kind of looking at MLGO so much. By the time I started paying attention to it, I'd kind of missed this big move. This might have also been when I was in the bathroom, because pretty soon after I sit down in the mornings is when my body is like, yeah, bathroom time. Anyway, so HOLO starts making another move, but this price action was so gross, like big rejection candle, red candle, and then, you know, it sank all the way back down to the beginning of its move after that pop from a $1.70 something all the way up to like, looks like just under $2.30. It sank all the way back down, then it came back up. Now it's making this move and continuing, but I'm not, it's hard to feel really that great about it, but it does keep going. I just didn't have the, I don't know if it was just lack of courage to take it. I wasn't inspired by it. It didn't seem like an A+ setup. And I think that's a good assessment. Like watching this price action, like how these move ups are pretty small. It's like we're only talking about, 10 cent, 20 cent moves. These candle ranges are super tight, super small. And then it's getting these big rejections. So yeah, I don't think that I'm too off base and like not feeling great about this price action, and not wanting to get into, since I'm limiting myself. This is the other thing, since I'm in this place now where I'm my trader jail, my restrictions right now are basically just like one trade a day. I don't want to blow that on some bullshit like this, right? So this JG thing had made a couple of really nice pops, but the volume was so bad and the spreads were not great. So I just kind of I didn't want to deal with that. It was high price, bad spreads, really low volume. even though it had made a couple of nice moves, it was not seeming to be appealing. So yeah, then HOLO just grinding in this grinding channel. So I didn't even really mess with it at all. MLGO, the same thing, really tight MACD. HOLO, really tight MACD, although the MACD is way up above the zero line, so it is indicating that this uptrend is remaining true, or it's remaining true to this uptrend, but I don't want to get into this grindy mess. I could have just, entered in one of these like pullbacks, taken the indication that this, we're in an uptrend, it's just going to be grindy, and just like held on. But, I don't know. What fun is that? So I didn't take really any trades. VCIG popped up, but then it round tripped. That didn't hold up. Round tripped bad. Or I should say, it didn't offer good price action. I mean, it kind of round tripped. Again, big rejections. Small, short moves. These pops are not sustainable. I mean, just nothing about that seemed good. The volume was really inconsistent. Big selling volume candles, small buying volume candles. Yeah, it just was not looking fun. HOLO breaks down. BNZI did a nice pop. Why? I don't know why. I think that one round tripped. I was waiting for that one to prove itself, and it just proved itself to be garbage. WIMI also popping up and not sustaining. A lot of these tickers were associated with DeepSeek, this new Chinese AI platform that's supposed to be not supposed to be, but I don't know. People are like worried that it's the open AI killer. And so all of these businesses now are trying to like jump onto that. We're claiming that they're going to be jumping onto that by putting out in their press releases that they're going to start using it. And all of these stocks that have popped up, or of all of them, a good majority of them are AI related. And I think almost all of them had something to do in the news in the press release, had something to do with DeepSeek, using DeepSeek. So, but in spite of these big pops that they would initially make, nothing had sustainable follow through. This JG was another one of those where it put out this press release of using DeepSeek, and it got the best of all of the pops, I think, but nothing really spectacular came of it. And I think at the open it had one little push and then kind of sold off. So here we are at the open, and this is the part of the morning where I'm starting to wind down. I know the kids are going to start getting up soon. So I'm kind of at this point where like, okay, if something really obvious doesn't happen soon, I'm not going to have any trades today. I had kind of resigned myself to it not being a trading day, or being a no trade day. So I was looking at JG to see if it was going to finally, or if it was going to start, making like a big push. These are just, I kind of cycle through a few of them, looking to see if one was going to make a reliable move. NVNI is breaking out, but it's low volume. This is also a continuation play, so I was kind of like, do I, I don't know. I didn't feel a huge amount of faith in that, even though it did make a pretty good move, and I could have done pretty well on that, but EVAX also made a pretty decent push, but then this became a pretty bad rejection candle here. DWTX, very low volume, making a big pop up. Also a continuation. DWTX from the other day had just made this like monster insanity squeeze up. And so this is something continuing from that, but it's like super low volume. Again, just nightmare spreads. The spreads are crazy. I'm staying out of that one. EVAX is not sustaining its move. Here's back to NVNI. Thinking I should get into it. Missed the pop. Goes into a halt. False halt. Keeps going up. Finally does halt. So, yeah, I kind of missed that move. At this point, I was, again, I'm sort of just like, the kids are getting up soon. I haven't done any trading until now. Just as a result of that, when you go through the whole pre-market not doing any trades, you're kind of close to FOMO already. You're already kind of close to being a little spontaneous, a little knee-jerk. So I was kind of overcompensating a little bit in the opposite direction, just being aware of that and not wanting to jump in on something prematurely or with too much FOMO or whatever. So, it's kind of like keeping myself out of things that maybe I otherwise would have gotten into if I had already had like a few winning trades. But again, looking for just the one trade. Now DWTX gets some pretty good volume, but the spreads are still super nasty, and I don't feel good about it. So I still stay out of it. JG, volatile, but choppy as hex, and also bad spreads. This is the trade that I decided to take. Good old RGTI. I do love me some RGTI. So here's the setup on this one. These quantum names. So it had consolidated here after the open, kept a tight range around VWAP. It had broken out. It had retraced. I'm thinking, okay, it's retesting this 5-minute level. This is going to be a good 5-minute breakout setup. I had the right idea, but I was too early and also too late because I should have been watching it down here. I should have been seeing it catching and holding this level, making this move, and I should have been entering down here like around $2.40. Probably, after this candle. So this level is around like $2.38. That's the sort of support level here. So the first candle to make a new high after this retracement, that should have been my entry. I see it going up, knowing a little bit about the patterns that these quantum names, RGTI specifically, likes, how it likes to move in the morning. My thought is that this is a good place to enter. So what I got in at 1269. But that was the top end of its move. And on reflection, as I'm seeing this now, I probably should have expected something like that, because the likelihood of this like continuing to blast through past this previous high of $12.88, not quite likely. More than likely it's going to have like another little pullback, and then I should have waited to jump into that, which is what it did. So I'm just kind of slow motioning the playback here. What's happening? Why is it stalled? Okay. So I was good about keeping my stop loss, I stopped out. I went a little bit lower than maybe I should have. 10 cents is but 15 cents. I allow for 10 to 15 cents, so I'm in within that range, so that's fine. And I'm waiting to see, like, okay, what's it going to do? That didn't work out. But is it going to continue lower, or is that a pullback where it's going to have a bounce now? So I'm thinking, okay, this is the bounce. It did a pullback. It's bouncing off the 9. I get in again, and I take a very small winning trade. I get a little less than 10 cents out of it. I get like 8 cents out of it. That's okay. I chopped down the loss a little bit. So at first, my loss was $6.50. I chopped that down to $4.75. Okay. I broke the rule of one trade, but it's, the one trade is, there's some flexibility in there. Anybody will tell you. So I had sold half. Yeah, I had sold half at $12.75 and then sold the rest at $12.71 when it looked like it was stalling out and it wasn't going to go higher. It did go a little bit higher. Oh, no, it didn't. Later it continued to go higher. Let's go back and look at that one more time. Yeah, so actually I chopped my loss down to $3.99. So that's good. I feel good about that. It's red on the day, but I followed my rules. I walked away at this point. I was like, that's cool. And then I didn't come back later to do more trading, even though, if we look at it, what is that? That's, 10:01. So my time, that's 7:01. So here's our GTI, and that was about, where was that? That was about right about here. So this is where I bailed out of the trade, and then, and my son is waking up, my daughter is waking up. I know I'm supposed to walk away at this point, and just I could have held on. I stopped the recording. Where were we? I stopped this recording basically like right after that trade. 10:02. A couple seconds after 10:02, it wasn't making an immediate move. Let's see, it pulls back a little bit more. So that's where I ended the recording, and I walked away from trading for the day. Meanwhile, that very minute, or the very next minute, 7:03 my time, would have been 10:03 on the trading clock. Boom, there it goes. And that would have been another 20 cents. And that would have been sweet. That would have gotten me to green. But I did the right thing. I walked away, following the process. That's fine. And this is what I missed out on. And this is all, kind of looking at this now and feeling this FOMO, that's also part of the process. Like feeling that FOMO, letting myself feel it, and kind of like juxtaposing that FOMO with the good feeling that I have of following my rules and maintaining discipline, kind of feeling that tension between those two things. The idea is that strengthens the mental focus, the mental clarity, and the discipline for future trades. When it's in these sort of low risk environments, walking away builds the strength, the mental resilience to walk away when there's higher stakes. When it's like, when it's a little bit more brutal and it's the times when it's a little bit harder to do. Okay, that's it.